The Bug Hotel, written and illustrated by me, Amanda Burton. For our beautiful daughters, Freya and Sophia. Down at the bottom of the garden, there is the Bug Hotel. Inside there lives a ladybird and a beetle with a purple shell. The Bug Hotel is large, with lots of room inside. There's lots of nooks and crannies for bugs to come and hide. One day the ladybird and the beetle hatched a master plan to attract as many bugs as they possibly can. First of all they gathered some wood to make a welcome sign, and then they worked together to create an amazing design. They wanted to let all bugs know that they are allowed to enter, so they painted the word welcome brightly in the centre. They then set out on a journey so they could spread the word. Hey, let's split up, said the beetle to the ladybird. So the beetle went to the left and the ladybird to the right. The first bug that the beetle met was a friendly little mite. Hello, said the beetle, and the mite replied with how do you do? I've not seen you around here before. Are you new? Yes, replied the beetle, I've just moved into the Bug Hotel. Why don't you come and live there and bring your family and friends as well? The mite thought for a moment and then he said why not. He gathered together his family and friends and said, come along you lot. So the beetle led the way back to the Bug Hotel, all of the mites behind him, which made him feel swell. Here we are, said the beetle when they arrived at their destination. The mites all crawled inside and discovered a crustacean. The crustacean introduced himself as a roly-poly woodlouse, and then he apologised and said, sorry, is this your house? The mites then explained to him that this was a home for all, and there was a welcome sign hanging on the wall. The woodlouse told the mites that his eyesight wasn't that good, and all that he could see was lots and lots of wood. He explained that wood was his most favourite thing of all, and then he suddenly bent his head and rolled up in a ball. He did roly-polies, which the mites thought were ace, so the woodlouse began to roll all over the place. His body was made of segments, so he could easily bend. The mites were really happy to have such an awesome friend. The ladybird returned with a spider in tow, and also a beetle whose tail began to glow. The spider had 8 long and hairy legs, and the glowworm was carrying lots of tiny eggs. They entered the Bug Hotel and the glowworm made a nest. She gently placed her eggs inside and then lay down to rest. She was feeling rather tired from carrying all of her eggs, and as she had no wings to fly, she has to use her 6 little legs. Whilst the glowworm was sleeping, the others were having a chat. Then suddenly the beetle said, wow, look at that. The group of bugs turned around to see a very bright light. The glowworm was shining and lighting up the night. She was hanging from a stick and her tail was all aglow. It was a kind of greenish colour mixed with yellow. The bugs all sat and watched as she dangled in the air, and all that they were able to do was sit there and stare. They began to feel sleepy, and so they wished each other good night. The glowworm climbed down from her stick and turned out her light. The next morning, when they woke, they met a bumblebee. She was nearby collecting nectar from a blossom tree. The bugs asked the bumblebee what she was doing in and out of the flowers, so she told them she'd been collecting nectar for hours and hours. She explained that she collects the nectar and takes it to the hive, and then the worker bees turn it to honey down inside. The bugs and the bumblebee could hear some nearby buzzing. The bumblebee announced, that's Felix, my little cousin. Then the bumblebee said goodbye and then went back to work. The bugs were just hanging around and then they heard a chirp. There on top of the Bug Hotel stood a bright and colourful bird. The bugs all ran inside as they were feeling rather scared. The bugs all looked for a place to hide where they could not be found. Then the ladybird whispered, what's that sound? The sound that they could hear was some very faint buzzing. The bumblebee was back, along with Felix, her little cousin. They had returned to let the bugs know that the bird had now gone. He was far away in a tree singing his favourite song. That evening, when the bugs were watching the glowworm glow, they noticed that her eggs were moving and cracks were beginning to show. Then lots of tiny glowworms began to appear. The glowworm climbed down from a stick and gave a joyful cheer. Her babies were hatching from their tiny eggs. First came out their tiny heads and then their tiny legs. Suddenly the bug hotel started to feel quite small, and the ladybird said, "I'm not sure there's room for us all." That night they all slept, but it was a little tight. When they awoke, the sun was shining bright. There were two little girls outside looking in at the bugs. They could see them all squeezed inside, looking rather snug. They decided to make a bug house much bigger than this one, and so they gathered some wood, some short and some long. The girls went into their house to ask their mummy and daddy for help, as there was no way they could build a bug house all by themselves. They all set to work, choosing different jobs. Mummy built the frame while Daddy cut the logs. Freya and Sophia gathered together the things to go inside, where the bugs can crawl into and easily hide. They then took the welcome sign from the bug hotel, as whoever had made it had done really well. They hung the sign above the new bug house, and then the girls spotted the roly-poly woodlouse. He was doing roly-polies all over the place as he thought that the bug house was really ace. Then all of the bugs formed a nice straight line and walked right up to the welcome sign. They all moved into the gigantic bug house. Then the glowworm said, "Everyone gather around as I have something to announce." "I'm pregnant," she said. "I'll be having some more babies." The bumblebees were flying by and crashed into some daisies. The bugs turned to the glowworm and presented her with flowers, and the ladybird muttered under her breath, "Wow, she must have superpowers." The end. Within the next few pages, I've done some fun facts for children. It's all fun facts about the characters within the book. So first of all, we've got 10 fun facts about the ladybird. Then we've got the violet ground beetle, the clover mites, fun facts about the roly-poly bug, which is my very favourite book character. Then we've got the spiders, the glowworm, the lovely buzzy bumblebees, and the beautiful goldfinch. Last page of this book, I've also done a fun sheet for the kids to do some bug hunting and some bird hunting. They can try and find the characters within the book, but they can also try and find their own bugs as well in the gardens. I've done a link to my Facebook and Instagram pages and also my email address, so if the children want to do some pictures, either take some photos or draw some pictures, I would love to receive these, because it would be absolutely amazing. So that would be great if you could do that. Thank you very much and take care. Thank you. Bye bye.